on a frequent run basis, or you want to source them in on a frequent run basis, think of any beverage product that you like, or if you produce a beverage product, then it's probably going to be much closer to relate to. But if you're dealing with the big mammoth product that you've been selling for a while, I'll pick up Coca-Cola products just as an example. If you're dealing with the Coke Classic, you probably want to deal with Coke Classic on a regular basis. You probably want to have daily production runs. But if you're dealing with something like Cherry Coke or Lime Coke or any of the new products that have come out, they potentially might be, and I'm not saying they are, they potentially might be the slow-moving SKUs where you might actually want to produce them just once a month, and you want to deal with them on an allocation basis and things of that sort. So again, multiple things, multiple aspects of the supply chain efficiency paradigm can be related to inventory management very, very quickly by using simple data analytics techniques. So in summary, the basis of this technique that we've talked through is inventory segmentation. And essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand the cost to serve SKUs and customers by making a differentiation between power SKUs, non-power SKUs, power customers, and non-power customers. Now again, what I do want to call out is inventory segmentation is not inventory optimization. Inventory segmentation and inventory optimization are separate techniques for inventory management. And again, you want to focus on the power SKUs and the power customers. They're truly the cash cows. You want to focus on getting the forecast right for the power SKUs. You want to mitigate and risk assess the power customers for service outages. You potentially want to provide a higher service level for the power SKUs. A lot of times when we start talking to people who make decisions in boardrooms, they would tell us that they have a 97% service level that they adhere to for all SKUs. Well, you might want to make a change, and you might want to say, why shouldn't I service my power SKUs and my power customers? Well, start with power SKUs for now at 99%, while the non-power SKUs go down to 94%. Right there, the difference in the service levels will affect the safety stocks that you carry, and hence will affect the inventory stock position, thus allowing you to actually be more competitive and increase your supply chain efficiencies by reducing your days on hand. You also want to investigate VMI programs with your power customers. You potentially want to insource some of your power SKUs or procure your power SKUs through key suppliers only. You probably don't want to go out to that one supplier that you use once a year to outsource any of your power SKUs. And then you also want to differentiate the gold from the silver. What that basically means is power from non-power. And potentially even make a case for some of the non-power SKUs to be rationalized, or not some of the non-power customers to be rationalized. And the way you do that is move them to some of your bigger distributors. So again, I certainly hope that some things I've talked to are things that you've been able to relate to, some things that you deal with on a continuing day-to-day basis, and I certainly hope and wish for the very best as you deal with improving your supply chain efficiencies. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Amen, for that insightful presentation. We do have a few questions coming in from our attendees. The first one asks, this is a really simple yet powerful technique. Do you think it works in the corporate world?
In all honesty, yes. We've had success working through very simple data analytic techniques, including this one, to help companies. This and there's several other techniques, again, very rudimentary in nature, which help in pure inventory management without delving into high-end inventory optimization or demand management techniques, use of high-end software tools, use of demand management algorithms. Without getting into all of that, you can easily get into inventory management and get a fair bit out of it as well. If nothing else, this allows for the supply chain planning community to bring to note the amount of effort that goes into planning for a very minimal volume. From the presentation itself, it was 42% or 43% of the SKU customer weight for 1% of the volume. So again, simple ways to relate to the amount of effort that's being put in and how that affects supply chain efficiencies.
All right, our next questioner would like to know, how often should I run an analysis?
Again, what happens there is you want to take into account the seasonality of the demand patterns as well as the omnipresent effects of SKU product life cycles. You have fast-moving SKUs that tend to start fading out over a period of time. You've got newly introduced products, or products that are slow-moving tend to become fast-moving all of a sudden due to changes in demand patterns. So again, we typically advise companies to look at segmentation strategies quarterly, and doing that allows for quite a few times supply planning and demand planning cycles are looked at every 3 months, so that allows for appropriate changes to be made for supply chain efficiency gains.
All right, let's look at our next one here. How do I build a business case for something like newly introduced SKUs?
Sure, that's actually a very good question. It's not only the newly introduced SKUs that need to be planned somewhat separately, but you also want to look at SKUs which are important from a business perspective. Now again, they might not be cash cows, but it's important for, let's say, a particular company starts to deal with, get into grinding tools or drilling tools, and you have tools which have diamond and grinding bits. Now again, that probably might not be the cash cow per se in terms of volume of the SKU. I'm not talking about revenues, but from a volume perspective. But the company might have, somewhere in the boardroom that would have been an important decision from a strategic perspective to actually work to get that market segment. So within segmentation, you need to be, or at least people need to be very careful with how they work with differentiator-based strategies versus a common SKU that is available for all, that is a mass SKU. And then you also have to work with specific customer requests and build that into contractual obligations and how do an entire supply chain costing exercises around it. So this probably would, I guess, if I had to say this very subtly, would probably form the subject for the next level of detail as you start working through these techniques.
Okay, let's look and see what's next. You mentioned that segmentation can be used to drive manufacturing and or procurement. How is that possible?
Well, I actually wasn't intending to use any examples or any names, but I did pick up the beverage example as part of my discussion a few minutes ago. And I think I tried to capture that with fast-moving SKUs, you probably want to produce them every day or every week. With slow-moving SKUs, just because of their sheer volume, you probably want to produce them or procure them only once a month. So again, you can use the segmentation strategies to your benefit. What that does from a planning perspective is, if I was a planner dealing with 2,000 SKUs, I probably don't want to be bothered by the slow-moving SKUs as often as I would like to work with the fast-moving SKUs. So again, it helps me as a demand planner or as a supply planner or as a fulfillment planner to work through the little details on the most important SKUs while also taking into cognizance the slow-moving SKUs. So again, there are multiple ways in which we can work with segmentation.
All right, this next one reads, the big focus these days is on inventory optimization through the use of high-end mathematical tools. How can segmentation be used in inventory organization?
You're very correct. There are several software solutions that are available for inventory optimization nowadays. Again, I talked about the different inventory management problem types. Now again, to date, I'm not aware of one tool that can solve all types of inventory management problems. In fact, most times we've had to go in, talk about what the problem was, what is the problem that the solution is being sought for, to start looking for the appropriate inventory management software solution. In fact, you'll be surprised that some solutions that only do inventory segmentation are being touted as inventory optimization solution, even though segmentation has nothing to do with optimization other than being able to complement it. However, there are a handful of high-end solutions that allow for a very efficient use of segmentation techniques through stock-to-service curves, and stock-to-service optimization, and other high-end mathematical techniques.
And we have a general question here that asks where you see a lot of companies headed when it comes to inventory management in an economic environment such as today's.
Well, with the way the economy is today, not many companies have free working capital. So expecting them to invest in a software solution is somewhat difficult. Though I must state that we are beginning to see some turnaround in the inventory optimization tools world, people starting to go more towards solutions. Several companies, though, have taken this time actually to concentrate on the slow-moving and obsolete products management process, which is also typically referred to as the SLOB process, and just improving and working through the internal processes. So in essence, the impetus has been on improving internal processes and identifying ways to improve efficiencies without investing in software solutions. So again, techniques like the ones that I talked about are actually being worked into the day-to-day processes to help understand how can efficiency for the entire supply chain, not just the inventory management team, be improved. However, there does come a time, and again, hopefully that for most companies will happen with the turnaround coming through as well in the economy, there will come a point where continuous improvement will require a step function change. And that step function change typically will come from a software solution of sorts, because you need to enhance the capability at some point in time. And at that point in time, you can again start with anyone who's been through the lean journey would appreciate this. But you start with another round of efficiency improvements at that point in time.
Well, thank you, Aman, for taking some time to answer our questions. We certainly do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Certainly my pleasure. Thank you.
You know, Global Spec is always looking for speakers to share their expertise. If you'd like to be considered as a speaker at one of our events, you can find the speaker submittal form right here on our website. Just look for the link labeled Events and then click on Speaking Opportunities. And I hope you'll please join me again at 1:30 Eastern Time, when we'll be joined by Adil Shafi from Advenovation. He will be discussing the benefits of machine vision for your bin picking operation. In the meantime, take this opportunity to explore the environment. Visit the vendor booths in the exhibit hall. You'll find manufacturer product representatives there, along with engineers and technical specialists from these organizations. Or you can meet presenters and colleagues in the networking lounge. We will, of course, alert you via our scrolling marquee at the bottom of your screen about 5 minutes prior to the start of the next presentation, so you won't miss it. And we'll look to see you back here in the conference center at 1:30 Eastern Time.